13 awful albums by bands that I love. These are awful albums by bands that usually don't put out bad material, and we're going in order from the least awful to the most awful, so stick around until the end because we've got 3 albums I just have to be in a really weird specific mood for, 3 albums with an okay song or 2 in the mix, and then the most horrific missteps in all of rock and roll history. So, let's take a look. Don't take a listen. It'd be bad, bro. All right, the microphone's on. We're gonna do this. Jumping in at number 13, we got Liberal Animation from NoFX. I really love NoFX, and this is probably blasphemy going after the debut, but Fat Mike is good with blasphemy, right? So I feel like the band kind of found their footing early on the second record rather than this one. It's just that there's not any great or even good songs on Liberal Animation in my mind, and the rest of the catalog is just filled with scrumptious nuggets and thoughtful nuance. But Liberal Animation, or whatever it's called, is trash. Moving on to the next album is Linkin Park. You saw them in the thumbnail. God bless Chester Bennington. Linkin Park are a darn near perfect band, in my opinion. You just can't go wrong putting on a Linkin Park album unless it's Living Things. Don't put on Living Things. I can tolerate playing this one, but it feels cold, metallic, soulless, and void of the fiery strengths that Linkin Park have. I'm not sure if it's the heavy use of electronic elements taking center stage, but this one is a one blemish in an extremely storied and accomplished discography. And yes, I absolutely love One More Light and the new one. I'm loving the new iteration of Linkin Park, and I wish them a Merry Christmas. Number 11, an underrated band for sure, Everclear. And I don't like to criticize underrated bands. Everclear, welcome to the Drama Club. Green Day are my favorite band, but at one point, Everclear were my favorite band. And Green Day's not making this list because Green Day can do no wrong, ever. Everclear. Everclear was once my number 1 favorite band. Everclear was my favorite band back in the day, and because Art Alakakis, the lead singer, wrote everything, the lyrics and the music, I assumed that a massive lineup shift in the early 2000s wouldn't affect Everclear too much. But boy, was I wrong. Welcome to the Drama Club was such a massive drop in quality, drop in songwriting and instrumentation. It's such a disappointment in Everclear's catalog. Their first 6 albums, flawless, front to back. And this one, a real bummer with a bad sound, tinny production, and a lack of that emotional power that Art has inside of him and put on display on all previous projects. What's really weird is the non-album singles around this time were great. Jesus Was a Democrat, anyone? Oh man, I think he gave it away for free. Should have been the lead single. Everclear bounced back on the 2 later albums. The 2 later albums that followed Drama Club, thank goodness. We don't even have to talk about them here. I thought my fandom was destroyed with Welcome to the Drama Club, but now here we are, and Everclear still going strong. I saw them in concert with the Nixons and Fastball, and that was an amazing show. And you can see them. I guess their star power is a little bit dimmer these days. You can catch Everclear in some dive bars now. But hey, it's really cool to be up close with them like that. Number 10, the Murder Dolls. Women and Children First. I met Wednesday 13 at a horror convention in Atlanta, Georgia, and decided to buy the deluxe version of Beyond the Valley of the Murder Dolls on a whim. being an innocent little teenager back then. And this is an album that made me laugh and gasp at once. It was so obscene. It had the cheekiest, funniest, most rock and roll stuff I've ever heard in my life. So offensive, so gory, so crazy and scary. But when Women and Children Last came out, it's making the sucky list. Beyond the Valley is a masterpiece, and I guess this sophomore album had a lot to live up to, but it did not. It sounds okay, but none of that demented personality and humor from the deluxe debut are here. And I was so let down by this one. The Murder Dolls were all set to become one of my favorite bands. And this Women and Children Last, it has grown on me over time as just kind of a good, decent metal record. But it is not what thought that I was being promised more of on Beyond the Valley of the Murder Dolls. It just makes the list. I'm sorry, Wednesday. I'm going to try to actually remember your show the next time I see you, because, man, I was tore up at that last one. Whew. Number 9, Shinedown. A great band. They have a lot of really, really great albums, great songs, but their debut really sucks, and it's making the list at number 9. Us and Them wasn't great either, but after those two get out of the way, they can do no wrong. They're a pretty perfect rock band. The debut has a couple of singles that made their career, that kind of kicked them off, so I'm thankful for those songs, but the rest is just really awful filler. Give me the Bird, Flower, Snake, Punctuation, or Planet albums, because all those are perfect or near perfect. There's 45 on here, which is good, but those other singles are just kind of meh, and the rest is just crap. My script says scarp. I'm not sure what scarp is, but if it's a synonym for bad music, I didn't mistype. Number 8, Living by Words with their 1+1 album, and screw these guys. How many double albums can one band put out? Well, according to Chris Norwood of Living by Words, there is no limit to the amount of garbage or garbage music one band can put out. I do like the majority of the rest of their work, but man, Living by Words need an editor or something, because good Lord, these goofballs and 1+1 is just, it's way too bloated for that, those guys are still on I Can't Have Nice Things record, and I can't imagine how Chris Norwood over at I Can't Have Nice Things record ever put this out. 1+1 by Living by Words, the most bloated rock and roll album that's ever been created. What happened to Living by Words anyway? We haven't heard from him in some time, quite some time. Number 7, Kid Rock with Rebel Soul. In 2025, Kid Rock is no longer the fun-loving rock star. He's a bitter, annoying, crotchety, crockety, butthurt whack job who doesn't have a nice thing to say about anybody or anything. That being said, his music is way more fun. Way more fun and way more classy than Kid Rock is. Usually. But on Rebel Soul, he trades in rock riffs, country ballads, rap battles. He had a lot of space that he was occupying, and he fills this album with soulless soul music. This album has nothing, basically. Blue-eyed soul, but made by a butthole with flaming devil eyes. It's garbage. There's a few moments of fun on Happy New Year, but that's one song out of, I don't know, a million that suck. And Kid Rock, just makes me sick in 2025. He's got some great albums, but Rebel Soul ain't one of them. Number 6, Weezer with and I had to think a little bit on Weezer. I was like, I'm only gonna pick one. We can say that some of their other albums aren't good, but what's the one? And it's the Black Album. I'm a Weezer defender. I even like some of their most hated albums and songs. Those albums and songs bring me joy. Except for Pacific Nightmare and Black Album. Black Album being worse than Pacific Daydream says a lot about. It says a lot because Pacific Daymare made my brain hemorrhage, my ears bleed, my stomach to vomit up chicken wings for 24 years straight. Damn, that's cold. That was a Weezer reference. You wouldn't get it. That was a Joker reference. You wouldn't get that either. I will rock out. With my Cards Against Humanity out. I'll rock out to Ratitude and Red. I love those albums. And Make Believe. I love those. Weezer are one of my most played bands of all time, behind Green Day and The Offspring. But gosh darn, Weezer made it medically necessary. Weezer made it medically necessary to go into a medically induced coma just to avoid the horrific damage Black Album threatened to do to my entire nervous system, my entire body, my entire future, past, present, and coffee. Black Album, one of the worst albums ever made by the 28th greatest band of all time. Unreal. What is that? I don't know what sound Weezer was going for on Black Album, but it is god dang horrible. And I think part of it was a misrepresentation on the band's part. They were talking about putting out a heavy metal album, like just raw, angry, cussing, screaming, veins popping out of Weezer. And then they put out this unbelievable bullcrap shit. I am so angry at the Black Album. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Like, oh yeah, it doesn't sound angry. It makes you angry. Ah! It's horrible. It's unlistenable bullcrap. Go listen to that stupid album with Metallica screaming about being the table and some weird, questionable other stuff. Listen to that instead of Weezer Black Album. It's unruly. It's horrific. It'll make you vomit blood diarrhea out of your eye holes. Number 5, Marilyn Manson, The High End of Low. I can get down and groovy with just about all the other Marilyn Manson albums. The new one's pretty good. The rest of his catalog full of classic bangers. But The High End of Low is a complete lifeless drivel of a record. It is the low end of low. None of the songs are engaging, enraging, or have any personality. The production's blown out, raggedy, plain old bad on every level. Skip! I can't believe I've got 4 more albums that make The High End of Low sound good in comparison. I blame you, David Grohl. David M. Grohl. Number 4, The Foo Fighters with One by One. One by One. I was so excited to finally have a Foo Fighters record coming out that I didn't have to buy secondhand. I fell in love with the band during the Learn to Fly kind of epidemic. And as I was being introduced to alternative and punk and metal and hip-hop, my own kinds of music that I liked outside of my home life, Foo Fighters were a force to be reckoned with. They were just a really big discovery, and I ran out and bought this, and whoa, it was terrible. All My Life is okay. Times Like These is really great, really terrific, really heartfelt song. It's an anthem. Come Back is a nice little ditty, a nice little hidden gem, buried in a sea of poop shit. I mean poop. Poop slides, poop buckets. This album just sounds horrid, vile, putrid, low, discarminating. Aside from those few tracks we talked about. Fortunately, this low point in the Foo Fighters discography is followed by In Your Honor, where I feel like Foo Fighters transformed from a singles band with a bunch of skippable garbage to an album band. I don't know what did it, but something lit a fire up under Dave Grohl's ass and inspired the hell out of him, or the entire band. God bless the Foo Fighters in 2025 and moving forward. He's been doing something with that other band. Remember that Nirvana that was pretty kind of almost got popular there for a bit? He's been doing some stuff with them. Pretty wild stuff. Now we're in the top three. The Gorillaz with The Fall. I remember, I can still feel the disappointment. All these are disappointing albums by amazing bands, because that's what it is, right? Amazing bands putting out a garbage disappointment. And wow. This band, the Gorillaz, is a band that's so different and so expansive, like that they are part of like me expanding my musical taste. Demon Days was perfect. I'm a little mixed on Plastic Beach, but when I first heard The Fall, I nearly gave up on the Monkees. I should have known when I heard it was recorded on an iPad in a tour bus that it would be that quality. But for some reason, I thought it would be better. It would be like a real artistic highlight. You padded this album with beeps and boops, with no emotion behind them, and I'm throwing bananas at the Gorillaz machine, and I'm throwing 0 bananas out of 5 bananas on The Fall. It's just very boring, very middling sarcophagus of death, earhole death. It's bad. Don't listen to The Fall. And really, I kind of revisited Humans earlier today too, and that one's not so great by the Gorillaz either. But it's better than The Fall. Now we're at the number. Now we got 2 albums that make me more mad than that. The Red Hot Chili Peppers with their debut. Early Chili Peppers are a little unripe and very bitter on the earbuds. I'm the complete opposite. I'm the anti-Finn McKenty in that he's all hip and only likes the first 4 Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, and I am unhip. I prefer Californication on. Californication till now, every note is my jam. But the first 4 records, even Blood Sugar Sex Magic, some of it's great and some of it's just garbage, jungle noises and stuff. The debut Red Hot Chili Peppers album called Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's just a jumbled collage of Flea going insane on his instrument, on bass, random drum fills, almost no recognizable guitar noise to be heard, and Anthony Kiedis mumbling about animals he's tripped over in the desert on his walkabout or whatever. It's got that really dated 80s sound. It sounds like the Seinfeld theme song, a song that has no name. It's called the Simpsons theme song. I guess that's its name. But yeah, 1999 to present, Peppers wins. everything else before that kind of sucks. Like even Blood Sugar Sex Magic. This one is truly ear-piercing jungle noises. It's like The Clash if The Clash had no idea how to play or sing or write or wear clothes other than socks. Where's my socks? I thought it was here. Number one. My snare. My snare is on. Microphone is on. Number one. This album. This is contender for like one of the worst albums of all time. I'm looking at the rest of this list, and Black Album by Weezer would be a contender, but this next one is worse. Because at least on Black Album, there's one or two songs that only makes me puke a little. This next album, it's too ungodly. It's ungood. It's un-Charlotte. It's old. It's unauthoritative. I'm gonna cry. This album's so bad. Good Charlotte's Youth Authority. Good Charlotte had a good run. Get it? Good run. Good Charlotte. And in 2025, they're teasing a new album and tour and all that good stuff. Good stuff. Get it? With 7 albums. Most of them have been enjoyable, except Youth Authority. Whoa. 12 songs that stretch the definition of bad music beyond what it has already been defined by every musician on the planet, good or bad. Good Charlotte pushed the boundaries of what bad music can be. It's nearly 43 minutes and not a single solitary second of fun to be had. The lyrics are atrocious. Like the words don't even fit together. It's not like, it doesn't even sound like AI. It sounds like somebody pulled apart the English language and put together words that don't go together. Unintelligible gibberish. Good Charlotte Toto have Good Charlotte have order. Oh, that's a bad idea. You guys watch that YouTube channel? They make short films. Anyway, Good Charlotte have always been punk flavored. Good Charlotte have always been a punk flavored pop band, and I respect that. But dear goodness, these songs are so ungodly saccharine that listening to a single track from this might cause you to black out. The features are fucking trash. There's an interlude, dear God help me. It might be the worst interlude in all time in Space of Coffee. God. This album is so bad it nearly knocked me into another dimension. It's so pukey fucking bad. I can only imagine what this album would do to haters of Good Charlotte that happened to, for some unlucky, unholy reason, stumble upon it. I guess they might feel justified in their hatred, and that would give them the strength to survive. I don't know. But Youth Authority is so atrocious, so nauseating, it almost makes that Greatest Remixes album seem like a good idea.